problems out of the textbook for each of the sections of 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3. Just in case if you're still having some issues, I wanted you to just have this resource available. And also just a heads up, I hope this isn't frustrating. I actually have not worked out these problems yet, and I thought that it might be a good idea if you guys kind of hear like my problem solving process. Okay, so hopefully we can kind of feel like we're working these out together. Okay, so let's go and get started. This is 7.1, problem number 11. Okay, so the first thing I always look for is there a greatest common factor? And there's not. So we have our problem here. It looks good. We got the leading coefficient of 1. You can jump to the shortcut if you want to, but I think I'm going to go the long route because if you understand the shortcut, then you probably aren't having a problem with this problem. Okay, so I'm going to go the long route. And let's see, next thing is I don't see 4 terms, so it's not grouping. I don't see 2 terms, so it's not difference of squares. So let's just go ahead and make our list of things that multiply. I'm going to write this down. Multiply to negative 24, add to 5. Okay, so multiply to 24. Let's just list them all out. 1 and 24, that's not going to give me 5. Then I have 2 and 12, still not there. 3 and 8. That one's feeling pretty good because we could go have the 8 and combine it with a negative 3, right? So we have negative 3 times 8 would be a negative 24, and then combine negative 3 and 8, we will get that positive 5. So I'm going to go ahead and break apart the middle 2 terms. So I have x squared, and then that 5x, we're now going to look at it as a minus 3x and a positive 8x. And then just bring down that negative 24. Now I see the 4 terms. 4 terms means factor by grouping. And factor by grouping is just grabbing these first 2, finding their common factor, grouping these second 2, finding their common factor. So in the first one, I'm seeing an x. And then I have to think, x times what would give me that x squared? So that's going to be an x. We're working backwards, right? Kind of. X times what? So what would I fill in the rest of those parentheses to get to negative 3x? Well, I have the x, so it would be a minus 3. And then let's go ahead and pull out sort of the 8 and 24. So we can get the 8. I'm going to go with a plus 8. And to get to 8x, I'd have an x, and then to get to negative 24, I would have a minus 3. And I don't know if you've noticed this yet, but you always want to make sure what's here in the parentheses is the same. If it's not, you made a little bit of a mistake. Okay, so you want to go back and try to find that. And now I have this x minus 3 is in common for both of these. So I have my x minus 3. And then what gives me this x times x minus 3 is x. And then what gives me this positive 8 with the x minus 3? So I'm going to drop down that positive 8. And I get x minus 3 times the quantity x plus 8. All right, next I have number 19. So this is section 7.1, again, number 19. I'm just going to say those section numbers just so that if you have a specific question, you have a better idea where you're at in the video. Okay, so 7.1, number 19. First, I don't like that the x squared is at the end, so I'm just going to reorder it real quick. That's a positive x squared, and then we like that x term in the middle, so bring that sign with it, so that negative 11x, and then that's a positive 24, so put plus 24. All right, I don't see anything I can factor out. It doesn't have 4 terms, doesn't have 3 terms, so let's just go ahead and make our list of what multiplies to 24. And then when we combine it or add it, we get negative 11. So again, let's just make our full list. If you don't need to do this, that's okay. I like to do it 1, 24, 2, and 12, right? And then 3 and 8. Oh, I think we got 3 and 8 again. Isn't that what we had last time? Except for this time, I think we're going to have an extra negative, right? Because we want a positive 24 when we multiply, but then when we combine them, we want a negative. So if we make both of those negative, multiply that, you get the positive 24. Combine them, you get that negative 11. So I'll go ahead and rewrite the x squared, rewrite that plus 24. And then we're breaking apart this negative 11 into a minus 3x and a minus 8x. We have 4 terms, so we do factor by grouping. I can bring out an x, and I have an x minus 3. Now that I have a negative sign here with this 8, I'm going to bring down the negative 8. And I'm going to have an x. Well, I know it's something 3, right, because I'm trying to get to 24. So I have negative 8 times something with a 3 I want positive, so I'm going to go negative again. And then we have the x minus 3 we can pull out. And then x times that x minus 3 gives us that first set. And then we want that minus 8 because we're looking for that minus 8 times the quantity x minus 3. Next, 7.1, number 41, 4x squared minus 25. This has, well, first, no greatest common factor, right? So I always look for that first. And I can see there's 2 terms and there's that minus in there. Remember, difference means minus. So it's a difference of squares. And the difference of squares tells us that we have a squared minus b squared, that would equal a plus b times the quantity a minus b. So to get my a and my b, I like to put them in parentheses just so I can see it a little bit easier. The a is usually a little bit harder to see. Let's look at the b first. So that b says 25. What squared would give me 25? 5, right? Okay, now the first one, right? That one gets a little bit trickier. So I'm going to put the 2 here, and I'm going to think really hard about what could I put in here that would give me a 4x squared. So I'm thinking when I distribute that 2, what should I distribute it to get to 4? I'm thinking a 2 because 2 squared is 4. And then it's got that x squared. So if I go 2x, now you can see if I distribute, this will be a 4x squared. So I'm feeling good about that. Let's go pop it into our formula here, which was 2. We said a was 2x. So a 2x and then plus the b ended up being that 5, right? So b is 5. I actually want to rewrite this. No, I think we're good. Let's stick with this. This looks nice. 2x plus 5, and then a 2x minus 5. And remember, too, on any of these are kind of fun because you can actually go back and check them and see if you were correct. So that's our answer. We got it. I'm going to go back and FOIL it just to make sure I got the right answer, okay? So I'm going to go 4x squared minus a 10x plus a 10x, so those will cancel out, and minus a 25. So because it matches our original, that means we did it correct. All right, let's keep going. 7.1, number 65. So there's no greatest common factor. I see 2 terms, so I want to say it's a difference of squares, and I especially want to say that because I see the squared, and I know that 7 squared is 49. So I'm really thinking we should do that, but if you look close, this plus here, remember it's a difference of squares. So difference means subtraction. So in this case, there's no sum of squares rule. So this guy here is actually prime. And last one for 7.1, number 71. No greatest common factor I can pull out. There's not the 4 terms. There are the 2 terms for that difference of squares, right? And 100, we could find something squared to get to that, right? And same thing with 9. So let's try it. So we have, I'm going to write it one more time here. A plus b times a minus b, and we're trying to figure out a and b. So something squared. So for each of them, I see that p, and again, I like to do the parentheses. It makes it easier for me to see. You don't have to do that. And then I see this t. So for a, remember if I distribute that 2, what should I put there that when I square it, I get 100? That would be 10, right? So if I go back and check, I have 100 and then p squared. And then what should I stick right before that t? If I were to take that 2 and distribute it, and I'm trying to get to 9, what squared gives me 9? That's going to be a 3. And then you can see that 3 squared would be a 9, and then t squared. So now I have my a and my b is 10p and 3t. So now I just put it into my formula, and I have a 10p plus 3t times 10p minus 3t. All right, I think that looks good. Sometimes students will ask me, is it okay if they were to write like this part first and this part second? And that's totally fine. It doesn't make a difference. It's like trying to say, do I say that 10 is 2 times 5 or 5 times 2? Both of them work because they're just factors. So the order doesn't matter. Moving on to 7.2, problem number 9. First thing we want to do is look for a common factor. So between 8 and 12, try to think of the highest number that would go into both of them. If you have a hard time doing that, you can list off all the factors on the side. So like 8, so what goes into 8? So 2 would work, 3 would not, 4 would, 5, no, 6, no, 7, no, 8. And then factors of 12, 2 would work. So don't stop there because that 2, there might be something bigger. Okay, so 2, 3 works, 4 works, 5, no, 6 works, 7, no, 8, 9, 10, 11, so 12. So we want to look for the highest number that they both have, which is that 4. And how many x's can we factor out? What's the greatest amount that they have in common? Okay, so like the first one is x cubed. X cubed is really x times x, right? And then that x squared is just x times x. So if you look, you can see they have 1 in common. They have 2 in common, which is x squared. So I'm going to write 4x squared. And then as far as the y's, we could do the same thing, right? Y times y, y times y times y, and find how many they have in common. Or if you're seeing that it's just that lowest number, that y squared, because that's how many they have in common, you don't have to do that side work. You can just write in your y squared. And now I have to figure out what times 4x squared y squared will give me that 8x cubed y squared. So if I have 4, I'm going to need that 2, right? And then I already have the x squared. I'm trying to get to x cubed. So I just need one more x in there. I don't need a y with that one because I already have my y squared. And then it's a plus. I have 4. I'm trying to get to 12. So it's going to be a 3. My x's are taken care of. My y's, I'm missing one though, so I need a 3y. And then we just check to see, did we factor everything completely? And I don't see anything else we can do, so we are done. Number 31 in 7.2. First thing I always do is look for a greatest common factor. So that 5, do you think 5 goes into each of those? It does. Okay, so let's plot a 5 first. Is there anything else I can pull out? It looks like an x squared. And then let's see what we're left with. So I have the 5, I have the x squared, I need another x squared. I have the 5, I'm trying to get to 10, so I'm going to do a plus 2. That's an x squared, we're trying to get to x cubed, so we need one more x. And then minus, I'm going to punch it in my calculator, just so I don't make a silly mistake. That's a 24. And we got all our x's taken care of. So now this 5x squared, we just bring him down and kind of ignore him. And at this point, it's going to start to look kind of messy to me if I just keep putting parentheses and parentheses and more and more and more. So I like to kind of do like call them like super parentheses like this. Those big brackets. And now we're just going to factor what's inside the parentheses. Okay, so we have, let's not do that part yet because I don't want to confuse it with a shortcut if you don't like it yet. So I'm going to do the x squared and the minus 24. And we want to find two things that multiply to negative 24, but add to 2. We've been doing the multiply them out for a while on these. What about, let's just do it anyway, just in case you need it. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Do you see it yet? Yeah, how about that 4 and the 6? Now, we want it to be negative, so one of those is going to be negative. But then once we're done combining it, we want it to be that positive 2. So if we were to put the negative with the 6, combine it, it would be a negative 2, which is not what we want. So we want a positive 2, so we're going to put the negative with the 4. And then we're going to break apart that 2x. So then we get a minus 4x plus a 6x. This 5x squared just follows us along here. Put my super parentheses. And then I'm going to do factoring by grouping. Okay, so these first two, we have an x squared minus 4x. They have an x in common. I'm going to put an x minus, trying to get to 4x, and I have an x, so minus 4. Plus, looks like they have a 6 I could pull out, and x minus 4. Bring down that 5x squared. And I have this x minus 4. We don't need our super parentheses for this part, so you can just go back to regular. That x minus 4, and then again that x plus the 6. Just regular parentheses. So I think that one looks good. I don't see anything else we could do. Here we have 7.2, number 43. Is there anything we could pull out front? Do these two things have something in common? You guys are probably pretty good at this because we've been doing them all the grouping way. This is just the final step of the grouping that they're giving you here in this problem. So that x minus 3 comes out front. And then we're left with that 5x squared plus a 2. And it feels like there should be something else we can factor out, but there's actually not, because there's nothing in common with that 5 and the 2. Okay. Number 55 and 7.2. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is there anything I can factor out? So the 2 feels pretty good at first, right? Because you see the 2 and the 12 and the 36 won't go into that 27 though. So, no greatest common factor. And I can see I have 4 terms. So whenever I see 4 terms, I think about grouping. And, oh, it looks like I wrote down this problem wrong. I was thinking that's really crazy that they have B's and X's in there, huh? I think I'm so used to writing X that I decided to change the problem. So I will go back and fix that. That looks a little bit better. All right. So group those first two. There I can see I can pull out the 2 for sure. And the B's, we have the B cubed, B squared. So the highest that they have in common are those 2. So 2B squared. And then to figure out what to put in there, I have 2B squared. So I don't have to worry about the 2 or 2 of the B's. So that just leaves me 1B minus 2 times 6. So it would give me that negative 12. And the B squared's taken care of, so I don't have to worry about that. And for the second 2, I'm going to drop down a minus. What number should I put in there? What's the greatest thing that they have in common? This one, I'm going to have to actually write that out. Let's see. So 36, maybe I'll try to squeeze it in up top. 36. Let's list out all the things we can think of that would go in there, right? So 2, 4, 5 wouldn't work. 6 would work. Let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Does 12 work? 12 should work. And then after that, I think 18 should work. And if you aren't sure, you can just punch it into your calculator real quick. So I just did like a 36 divided by 18 just to make sure that it did work. And that should probably be the last one. Okay, so then, and I'm saying it's the last one because I noticed when I punched in that 18 that the answer was 2. So now if I just keep going higher, I'm just going to start circling through all of those earlier factors. So I don't have to worry about those because we already accounted for those. And now the 27, 2 does not work, but 3 does. Not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would work. I think that's it. So let's go with that 9. And worst case scenario, really, if we didn't pick the highest one, is we're just going to have an extra step to factor. So it's not like critical right now. It's just saving us a step, because if you only pulled out a smaller number, you would have another factoring step that you had there at the end. So let's just try the 9 and see what happens. So if I pull out a 9, then I have the 36 I'm trying to get to. So let's go with 4 and then get that B in there. And then 27 divided by that 9, I'm going to need a 3. Oh, see, and this is not looking good because remember, these are supposed to match up. So we have something weird going on. That's very strange, right? I don't see if I made a mistake, but I might have. But here's something that I do if I try to do all this work and it doesn't match up. This is really weird. I just swapped the middle two. So I'm not saying that's wrong. I might have made a mistake in here, and I'm just not catching it right now. So what I like to do, if it doesn't work out, is I take the middle two terms and I flip them. So I put the 36 first and then the minus 12 second. Because when you have 4 terms, there's only one way that it won't factor nice. So there's so many different ways you can factor, but we might have just landed on the one way out of tons that doesn't work. So that's why I just did that little swap-a-roo right there with the middle two. And let's go ahead and try this one. Hopefully this one will come out nice. So here, I have my 2 and my minus 36. So I'm going to pull out the 2. Now in this case, I only have the 1b, right? And then here I just need a b. And I need that minus. I hate it when problems have b's and 6's because my b's and 6's look so close. Let me try to fix that one a little bit. 2b. Okay, so I have the 2 and I'm trying to get to 36. So I'm going to put in an 18. And then I have a minus. This is really weird. This isn't going to work out nice either. I don't think. Let's try it anyway. Let's just grab a 3 and see what happens. A b squared. And to get to that 27, a 9. So make that be a minus 9. Oh, I think I see what's happening. Maybe. See, there's something weird going on with that difference of squares being thrown in the middle. I wish we were doing a live Zoom so that you could point out my mistake to me. This is crazy. I'm going to make sure I wrote down the problem right. Sorry, I don't know if I can pause these things, so you're just seeing what it's really like. So I do the same thing as you, make mistakes sometimes. 55 is 2b cubed. Oh, wait, what did I do? Oh my gosh. I grabbed... Tell me if you've ever done this before. Apparently I grabbed the first half of problem 55 and then I decided to combine it with the second half of problem number 53. So that's why we were having lots of weird things happening. You can't tell me you've never done that before, right? See, it happens to everybody. So, isn't seeing the whole process fun? Let's try to do the correct problem. So I'm just going to erase the whole thing so I don't do that again. I was wondering what was happening. It was making me really nervous. So 55, and that also explains why I had the b's halfway through and then I switched to x's. That was why I did that apparently. So 2b cubed minus 5b squared minus 18b plus 45. Let me double check that I wrote it down right this time. 2b cubed, 5b squared, 18b. Okay. All right. Let's try this again. So we, again, look for the greatest common factor. I don't see anything. You know what? You can try to factor it this way, but since I've already wasted so much time on this one, I can see that this 2 here would pair really nicely with this negative 18, and then this negative 5 is obviously going to pair well with that. So I'm still going to do the little swapperoo. It might work the way it's written. I haven't tried it that way. I can just clearly see that it's going to work out pretty if I swap those middle two. And then 4 terms, so factor by grouping. These first two, I see a 2 and a b, and then a b squared minus 9. And then I see a minus 5, trying to get to that 5b, I have b, and a 45, it's positive, so I want a b. Oh my gosh, I just made another mistake. Look at that. Do you see it? I'm going to circle it. Look at that. Has that ever happened too? You're trying to just rewrite something, then you forget it. So there's my b squared. So 5, I'm trying to get to the b squared. And then that minus 9 is still good. Okay. I can see the end. That b squared minus 9. We pull out front, leaving us with 2b minus 5. And I wish we were done because I've spent so much time on this problem, but we aren't done yet. What else could we do? Look at that b squared minus 9. We can keep going, right? Difference of squares. So we have b plus 3 times b minus 3. And then just bring down that 2b minus 5. Yay, we made it through that one. Okay, number 77 in section 7.2. We do not have a common factor. We have 4 terms, so we're going to have to do some grouping. I'm not sure if this way will work out. If it doesn't, we'll do some flipping around. So let's do the first 2 and the second 2. I'm seeing an x squared. Trying to get to that x cubed, so I have 1x here, plus a 9. I have a negative, and I'm trying to figure out between 4 and 36. I can actually pull out that 4, right? Leaving me with an x plus a 9. We have our x plus 9 we can bring out front. And we're left with an x squared minus 4. Do you think we're done? Nope, because we have a little difference of squares here. So we have our x plus 2 times our x minus 2. Now we're done. All right, section 7.3. This is number 17. There is no greatest common factor. And if you are used to the shortcut, this one you can't use it because that only works when you have a big 1 out front. And we have a big 18. Okay, so it's gonna be a doozy here. So looks like we're gonna have to break apart that middle term, right? So if I'm gonna fix that little 1 right there. We want 2 numbers. Wow, this is gonna be interesting, huh? 18 times 4. Wow, I get 72. Two numbers that multiply to 72, but add to 21. Wow. Where to start on this one? You know what? I'm just going to show you what I do. If you want to list out the full list, you can, but I'm just going to try to guess and check and then go up or down from there. So like I know 8 and 9, that would multiply out to 72, right? But that does not add to 21. So then, just really quick on my calculator, I'm going to start typing in just a bunch of numbers, okay? So I'm going to go 72. I know 10's not going to work. I know 11 won't work. I'm just going to just quickly type in like 72 divided by 12. Oh, and that one actually worked. It was, when I did 72 divided by 12, I got a 6. Oh, but that's still not the right one, right? Because that would give us 18 instead of 21. So I'm just going to do 72, and I know it won't work, but I'm just going to go really fast. I go divided by 13, doesn't work. 72 divided by 14, doesn't work. By 15, by 16. Just typing in my calculator. Oh, I got an 18 and a 4. So 18 times 4 is 72. And 18, if we go 19, 20, oh, that's not going to work, right? That's going to be 22. That's not good. Well, maybe it's a higher number. Let's keep going. So I left off at 18, so I'm just going to keep working up to 19, 20. Even though I know some of these don't work, I just kind of zone out and start typing them in. 22... Oh, I got a 24. I got a 24 and a 3. So 24 times 3 is 72. I think we might have found it. Look at that. The 24. Maybe not. So 24 and the 3, we'd have to subtract that 3 to get 21. Let me go and check that I wrote down this problem right. Let's see, so this is page 382. So 18x squared plus 21x minus 4, that was written down right. It feels like we'd found them all. I'm sorry again that I don't know how to pause this, so you can fast forward if you want to join in later. I'm just going to start figuring out all the different factors. So there also would have been a 2 and a 36. And again, I'm just punching them in really, really fast on my calculator. Oh, wait. I think I just saw it. When I looked up at the book, I realized that multiply, we aren't just trying to get to 72, right? We're trying to get to negative 72, so we are okay. Yay, we found it. Okay, so negative 72. So that means we want a positive 21, but we want it to be negative 72. So both of these are negative, right? See, when I do my notes, I have them all pre-written out, so there's none of this problem solving that you see kind of through the struggle. So see, we're all struggling together. 18x squared, I'm just going to write out front. I'm going to put my negative 4 at the end. That 21x, we got the negative 24 or negative 3 to break apart that middle term. It might work if you put the negative 24 first, but I know that 3 and 18 will go nicely together. And I know that 24 and 4 will go nicely together. So again, it might work the other way, but again, don't want to keep wasting your time, okay? So we have here, let's pull out let's get out a 3x. Okay, and then that's going to leave us with, we're going to have a 6x, because we're trying to get to 18x squared. So 3 times 6 is 18, x and x is x squared. And then the 3x to get to negative 3x would just be minus 1. And then, let's see, I'll pull down the minus. We could pull out a 4. And to try to get to 24x, that would be a 6x. And I have negative 4, and we're trying to get to just that negative 4 right there, right? So we would just do a minus... Oh, wait, this one's getting weird too. (3x), would that be a plus? No, that wouldn't make sense either. Oh, wait, I think I keep flipping these things around. Oh my gosh. I'm debating starting over on my recording. Sorry, it's been a long day and I can hear my kids in the background playing and the dog barking. So that should have been the plus 24. Right? Because I got all crazy with the positive 72 that I swapped and I didn't think about that. Okay. So let's try it from here. So I was thinking that doesn't make sense. So now it makes sense. Right? So we have the plus 4. Then we have the 6x. Yeah, and then minus 1. And that looks nice. Because now we have this guy can go out here. And then we're left with that 3x plus 4. All right, 7.3, number 29. Looking for a greatest common factor. So we look through each of those, see if there's anything we can pull out front. You might think the 4 at first, but it doesn't work. So then I would try, looks like a 2 would work, right? But no x's, just the 2. So that would be a 2 times a 2x squared. And then that 26 divided by 2, we would get a 13x. And then that 30 divided by 2, we would get a 15. All right, so there's nothing else we can pull out. And if you like the shortcut, you cannot use it here because that leading coefficient is a 2 instead of a 1. So that means we all have to work it out the long way. So I'm going to write the 2x squared and the 15. We're trying to break apart that 13. We want two numbers that multiply to 30 and add to 13. And hey, that looks like an easy one, right? Because I know 10 and 3 will multiply to 30 and add to 13. So that is good. It might work to put the 3 first. It might not. I just happen to see that 10 is going to pair really nicely with the 2 because I'll be able to factor out that 2. And then I can see that 3 is going to be very nice with the 15 because I can pull out that 3. So I'm just kind of working ahead a little bit in my head to figure out what might pair nicely. So just bring down that 2. I'm going to go with my brackets just to make it a little bit easier to see. And I have, out of these first 2, I could pull out a 2x. And then to get to 2x squared, that would be an x. Plus I have 2x, I'm trying to get to 10x, that would be a 5. Plus I can pull out a 3, leaving me with another x plus 5. Bring down that 2. And here I have x plus 5 I can pull out, leaving me with a 2x plus 3. 7.3, number 31. Again, I always like to see, is there a greatest common factor? So 15 won't work, so I'll start going down. It looks like 5. 5 would go into each of these, right? So let's go ahead and pull out a 5. And then we're left with a 4a squared. And then minus, that looks like an 8, right? 8a plus 3. And if you like the shortcut, you can't use it here either. So we are going to break apart that middle term. And we're looking for two numbers that multiply to 12 and add to a negative 8. So you can list them out if you want. When I looked at this, I just happened to see this one would be a 6 and a 2. And then I want it, when I add it together, it's negative. So it makes both of these negative. And then a negative times a negative will give me that multiply to positive 12. And I'm going to go and put the 2 first, just because I know 2 and 4 go together nicely. And then that 6 is going to go nice with the 3. Bring down my super parentheses, my brackets. And then group first 2 and second 2. And out of the 4 and the 2, I see a 2 and an A. And I'm trying to get to that 4a squared. So that is going to be another 2 and a, right? And then I have 2a, I'm trying to get to negative 2a, so just a little minus 1. And then here, let's go with a negative plot of 3. 3 times that 2 would give me my 6. And then I have a negative 3, and I'm trying to get to a positive 3, so it's another minus 1. Bring that 5 down. I have 2a minus 1. And then I have this 2a minus 3. I'm going to try to write that a little bit better. There we go. So now we have 5 times the quantity 2a minus 1 times 2a minus 3. And again, if you did it in a different order and you ended up with 5 times the quantity 2a minus 3 times a 2a minus 1, totally fine. It's just that if it's a single number like that 5, it's pretty standard to always just throw that guy out front, rather than put him in the middle or at the end. It looks kind of weird. This is 7.3, number 35. So first thing I like to do, see if I have a common factor I can pull out. And anytime there's that x squared as a negative, I always pull that negative out. It's going to make it so much easier. So I'm seeing a negative 2. There could possibly be something bigger, but worst case scenario, we'll worry about that at the very end and just have one extra thing to factor out. So let's plot that negative 2. So now we have a 10x squared minus 11x. And then that 12 divided by the 2. I'm going to get the 6 here. Right? And then we want it to be a positive 12, so we better make this be a negative 6. Just going to bring down that negative 2 and figure out how we're going to break apart that middle term. So we want two things that multiply. Uh-oh, we're going to have another big one. Negative 60 and add to negative 11. And I don't want to have to list them all out, but I think I'm going to anyway. Okay, let's just do it. So it's 60. I'm just going to type them into my calculator and just write them all out. So 2 and 30. 60 divided by 3, you get 20. 60 divided by 4. Oh, wait, maybe this won't be so bad. Look at that, 4 and 15. I can get 11 out of that, right? I want it to be negative 11, so I'm going to do a 4 with a negative 15. And that will give me the negative 60 I need and that negative 11 that I need. So let's break them apart. I'm going to put the negative 15 with the 10 so I can have that 5 I know I can bring out. And then that 4 I know I'll be able to get a 2 out of that. Again, it might work if you swap those two. I just feel like being a little bit more confident right here in what might work out. So 10x squared and negative 15x, plot of 5 and an x. So then I have a 2x to get me back to 10x squared, a 5x minus a 3. Then let's go plus a 2 with, I'm going to need another 2x, right, to get to that 4x. 2 times what will give me negative 6. I'm going to have a negative 3. Bring that negative 2 down. And I have the 2x minus 3. Left with a 5x plus 2. Okay. 7.3, number 41. I'm trying to think of a greatest common factor here. I know 2 would work, but it seems like we get something bigger. Maybe not. 2, because 6 wouldn't go into the 34. No, I think 2 is the best we can do. So let's just try it. 2, and then I'm trying to get the 6a squared, so I'm going to put 3a squared minus 34 divided by 2 is a 17. A, B. Don't let that B throw you off. You just kind of tack them on to the end with whatever that middle and final term is. And then at negative 12 divided by 2, I'm going to have a negative 6B squared. And again, I hate my 6's and B's next to each other. So I bring down that 2. I'm going to break apart the middle term. I want 2 numbers that multiply to negative 18, but add to negative 17. And I think we lucked out on this one because I think I could do a negative 1 and not a negative 1. So you could do 1 and 18, make one of them negative. So 1 times negative 18 gives us negative 18, and 1 combined with a negative 18 would give us a negative 17. Yay. Okay, I'm just going to put... so this is a negative 17AB. I'm just going to put that 1 first. Only because I know the 18 and the 6 will go nicely together. So it's just 1AB minus 18 ABs. So again, don't let that B throw you off. It's just the same as if you had the X, you just have negative 17 ABs, breaks down to a positive AB minus an 18 AB. So bring down that 2. And out of 3a squared plus a 1ab, the only thing I'm seeing that they have in common is that a. So I'm going to plot the a. I'm trying to get to 3a squared, so it'd be a 3a. And then plus, I'm trying to get to 1ab. So I have the a. All I need is the b. If you like putting that 1 in there, go ahead and do it. Okay, if it helps you like this. If you like that, go ahead and do it. I'm going to leave it out. But I won't mark you wrong or anything if you do that. It's okay. And then bring out that minus so we could get a 6. Anything else we could get? We could get one of those B's to come out. And then negative 6B, we're trying to get to a negative 18. So it'd be a positive 3. And we don't have an A that we pulled out, so we need that A. And then the B is already there, so we don't have to worry about it. And then finally, we have a negative 6B that we're trying to get to a negative 6b squared. So we would just have a plus because we want it to be negative. We have the 6, we have one of the b's, so all we need is that second b. All right, then 2, we have a matching 3a plus b, and then we have an a minus a 6b. So we have 2, 3a plus b times the quantity a minus 6b. And I don't see anything else we can do, so that wraps it up. All right, I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a good day.